You're listening to the Ordinary Joe's podcast with Joe D and Eric B. Ordinary Joe's podcast.
All right, another episode, a movie review with the Ordinary Joes. This time we're talking about John Wick Chapter 4. Spoiler alert early. People were like, hey, you guys are giving a spoiler alert 20 minutes into your podcast.
What do you expect?
Dude, don't listen to it. We're talking about something and you haven't watched it. Don't watch our stuff. Well, we're talking about John Wick Chapter 4. If you guys aren't caught up with John Wick 1, 2, and 3, we'll try to speed you up there. But we'll go ahead and dive into this and give us our thoughts. Joe just watched it, so it's fresh in his head. I watched it last week, so some, I'll remember things here and there. But let's go ahead and get this started. Joe, I am Eric B.
And I'm Joe Wick, and we are
the Ordinary Joes. What happened to this, man?
Joe Mama. Gonna switch it. I like that you made the soundbite for that.
Yeah, that's gonna
Joe
be
Mama.
Every time Joe makes me laugh. Now I have to do the Joe Wick. I have to do all of them. I think that's what I have to do. It's gonna be Joe Wick.
Joe Mama.
All right, man, Joe, let's, as we always do, man. John Wick 4, Chapter 4, all-star cast. When I saw the cast and I saw the people coming in here, besides the people who reprise the roles, Lawrence Fishburne, Ian McShane, RP, Lance Reddick, as Sharon. When I saw the other guys that were adding on, Donnie Yen, Hiroki Sadono, is that how you say his name?
Good luck with that.
Hiroki Sandana.
The guy that's in everything.
Yeah, the guy that's in everything. When I saw that cast, I was like, oh, shit, this is over. John Wick's met his match. But Joe, go ahead and start us off, man. Let us know what you think since it's fresh in your head.
Yeah. I mean, literally saw it at this point. What are we? 24 hours ago. I'm gonna start by saying there's some things that I'm probably gonna say that you're gonna think I don't like the movie.
Yeah,
but I actually do. I really enjoy this movie. But there's one thing about Keanu Reeves, man, like if it wasn't because he was so universally loved, he's just known as the nice guy in Hollywood, right? But my man is a terrible actor. I'm sorry. Don't at me. He's just so bad, but that's okay. It doesn't bother me. Doesn't ruin the movie. So often.
Can I add one thing on this, man?
Yeah, go for it, please.
There's a big meme going around. It's part of the John Wick franchise, and it goes in John Wick 1 when the one guy goes, "Are you back?" And then he just looks up, "Well, I think I'm back." Yeah. That's the biggest. Joe talking about his acting. They were like, dude, can he sounded a little bit more passionate about being back? But yeah, go ahead, Joe.
No one delivers a line as dry and stiff as Keanu. But like I said, it works. I mean, you're splitting hairs between John Wick and Neo, the character. I mean, but anyway, I just had to throw that in there because there's just times throughout the movie where he just delivers these one-liners, and all I can think of it's like, "I caught my first tube today, sir."
Totally, dude.
I am an FBI agent. But no, I mean, John Wick 4, starts off. We see him training. The if you watch John Wick 3, kind of ends off with Lawrence Fishburne's character, the King, asking him if he's pissed off, and he's I'm pissed off, or whatever it is he says.
I think I'm mad.
Yeah, I think I'm mad. Right. So we see him training. We see him getting healthy because he got his ass beat the last movie. And the High Table, of course, pissed off as usual because he's still alive. And they go to the is it the Continental? Is what the hotel is called?
Yep.
in New York. And they see Winston and they tell him, look, you're supposed to kill this guy. He's still around. What the fuck? So they punish him by blowing up the hotel, and they kill his right-hand man, his concierge, R.I.P. Lance Reddick, who plays Sharon. I don't know the timeline. I don't know if he maybe he died during the making of the movie. Was that why
No,
they killed his character early
no,
on,
he actually died a couple days before the premiere.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So they were that was already meant to be
Yeah,
for
that
them
was
to kill
yeah,
his character.
yeah,
Okay, that's just an unfortunate
yeah,
coincidence. But that's kind of where we start off. And I was surprised to see all of that, because I'm like, man, they're the Continental Hotel, that was like the kind of setting of the
yeah,
beginning of the whole John Wick movie. That's where he gets all his information. That's where all these kind of assassin spies kind of hang out and do their thing in New York. So for me, that's pretty big. And of course, I'm sorry, I forget to mention there's a new head of the high table. This guy Marquise, uh,
Arquise.
played by same guy who does Pennywise. Don't know his name. Um, does an amazing job though. By the
Yeah,
way, Eric will help me out there.
Bill Skarsgård.
Skarsgård. There you go.
Was he
And
Pennywise? Oh, I didn't even know that.
yes,
Oh
yeah,
wow,
that
okay,
was
okay. That's
Pennywise.
why he looked
Yeah,
creepy.
yeah. He
Yeah,
does a great job of playing villains, and I think he was perfect in this role because John Wick's always very kind of stylized, right? You got they go into the biggest cities in the world, and they're
yeah,
in Paris and France, and everybody looks great, and that he has that perfect look, that
yeah,
kind of fancy looking bad guy, but still creepy. And yeah, and so I mean, it doesn't waste time. This movie goes
yeah.
right into it. Um, the other thing I was going to say about this, that again sounds like I didn't like it, is the fight scenes, and we'll get into that. The fight scenes in this are amazing, but there are
Yes.
times where I can see where they use editing tricks to make Keanu look faster and more badass than he was, right? Like there's scenes where it's obvious like he's stiff. You can see the choreography, but maybe they speed it up a little bit. Maybe they do some editing techniques. And like I said, I don't care. I
Yeah.
still love it. I thought it was great. But you're starting to see the age catch up a little bit to Keanu. He's a little like, man, this is
Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm still mad. Um, but yeah, I mean, the way it starts off, this is a 2 hour 45 minute, I think, movie.
Yeah.
It goes right into
246.
it. Doesn't waste time. You don't have to worry about sitting around and being bored out of your mind with a storyline and like, all right, let's get to this. Like it goes right into it. Um, what did you and I know what I noticed first, but what was one of the first things you noticed about this movie that you liked?
That I liked.
Yeah.
Well, I like that they brought him back, and how I love how all this series, or the chapters, I guess, of what they're calling, how they
Mhm.
all. It's like if you watch John Wick chapter 1 to chapter 4, it's technically all within a week, right? The
Right.
time frame. It's like it's not even like 3 months later or 2 months later.
Mhm.
It's technically with probably within a month if you want to be realistic.
Right.
But the action scene, that's all.
Right.
That's all. You mentioned the Continental being like the badass hotel. Man,
Mhm.
if they did a spin-off on this, and I'm hoping they do, and they did
Mhm.
the Osaka Continental, oh man,
Yeah.
that damn hotel was badass. I mean, just the Osaka scene to me was,
Mhm.
if they just kept us in Osaka the whole movie, I think
Yeah.
I would have been like perfect. Um, with that. So that was that's my favorite scene, was the whole
Mhm.
Osaka scene.
Yeah.
And the fact that Keanu Reeves and Hiroki Sanada, I'm gonna mess up his name all day, so sorry.
Yeah.
I love how they reprised their roles because they were both in the 47 Ronin together.
Mhm.
So and Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne's with The Matrix, how they played well together before. And then Donnie Yen's character, and it's like he played in Star Wars Rogue One, and
Mhm.
he was blind in that one, and he was a badass blind. Was he force healing? Was he a force user? I don't know.
Right.
But he's doing it again in this movie. He's blind
Mhm.
again, and I'm like, this guy Donnie Yen is a badass also.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just that whole thing. They bring us new characters. They're introducing us to new things. Then I found out later on, these new characters that they're bringing in are part of a John Wick spinoff, which
Mhm.
we can talk about, throughout this whole show, which I'm not too keen of, Because it's like, if you're going to kill a franchise, kill a franchise. You know,
Right.
now the directors and the marketing team is just like, you know what? Let's spin off a couple people on here and let's see how much money we can make on here. Which again, I'm not too keen of, but hey, you know, if they ask me to be a part of it, I'll jump to I'll be there. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Have me as Doom number one. That's fine with me.
Yeah. I mean, that's, I think we're kind of used to that now with Hollywood, especially with successful movies or franchises.
Yeah.
They always try to, you know, squeeze the most out of it. But I don't know. I wouldn't be too upset with the spinoff here. Because like you said, they introduced a couple new characters, and Kane, played by Donnie Yen, is one of them, who's amazing. And I liked how they put him into the story.
Yeah.
You know, we understand that he's an old friend or acquaintance of John Wick. He's kind of like I don't know if he's like a retired assassin of the high table, but they basically kind of blackmail him into killing John Wick. If not, they're going to kill his daughter and his family and all this other stuff. So now he's kind of, although he doesn't want to, he's got to kill John Wick. And you can kind of tell even in their fighting scene, you know what I mean? It's like
he's holding back a lot. Yeah.
He's right. He's holding back. You could tell there's that kind of that admiration between the two. And not for nothing, I love fighting scenes where they integrate guns. It's like I think of like the old kind of John Woo style movies where they're fighting and you got all this hand to hand stuff, and in between they're pulling out guns and shooting like up close range, and amazing. The fight choreography, I don't know who did it, but the fight choreography in this movie is freaking really cool.
Yeah.
Better than Matrix.
Way better than Matrix.
Yeah, but I think so far with the new characters with Kane and Mr. Nobody, I don't know that I would mind seeing a spinoff if it continues to be done as well as John Wick, because I have a theory that the movies would be successful without Keanu.
Yeah. I mean,
but
we've seen it in Disney Plus. You know, Mandalorian's one of the biggest, you know, watched Star Wars movie ever, you know, since Star Wars was released. So yeah, I don't see this. I mean, the spinoff is supposed to be the Continental, which is supposed to take place way before John Wick. So we're gonna see a young Winston and a young Sharon. And the other spinoff is supposed to be Kane and Akira, which was Shimatsu's daughter. So, you know, we did get that post-credit scene at the end where, you know, spoiler alert, guys, again, where we see Akira trying to catch Donnie Yen's character, Kane, because, you know, he kills the dad throughout in the beginning of the movie. So now she's trying to get revenge. So that might be a spinoff. You know, Tracker, he might get his own spinoff. Some people say he might be the next John Wick, like he's the next guy to take over the man. I don't know. There's just a lot that they can do. But if I was these guys, seriously, I want to see a Osaka Continental. Maybe see how Shimatsu became the head of the Osaka clan. You know, maybe a John Wick version, but, you know, with Hiroki coming back as Shiatsu. That, to me, that would be I would watch it, you know.
Yeah.
You call it John Wick. Wick.
And it makes sense them doing a prequel because of how the movie ends. And I mean, we'll get to that, but it was already released by the studio that they want Keanu to continue making John Wick movies. So, you know, they would have to kind of go back to the beginning. The only problem I have with that is, again, Keanu's not the youngest guy in the world, right? Part of my issue with the last Matrix movie was like it was 10 years too late. It would have been a lot cooler if they would have got him when they were younger. But with today, you know, with AI and video and CGI and all that, I mean, I guess they could easily make him look younger, but I don't know that I would want to watch a whole movie with CGI, because I haven't seen one that it's been done well enough yet. You know,
I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want to watch that. You know,
so that's the only issue I think I might have with them just depends on how far back they go.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what
yeah.
I mean? Like if
Yeah.
they do maybe 5-10 years, okay, maybe they can pull that off. But if they're trying to do, too far back, I don't know that I'd be interested in that.
Yeah.
Not
No,
not with Keanu's character.
I think if they did it, and this is, I'm reading all this, is like there's nothing set in stone. I think if they did do it and they brought us a younger Winston and a younger Sharon, that we would have to see how Winston and John Wick, because they're pretty tight throughout the whole episode. They're pretty tight. Winston treats him like a father figure, right? The way he treats John Wick. So we probably would see a teenage John Wick, like maybe like running the streets of New York, and
Gotcha.
Winston says, "Hey, come work here and we'll get you a job here." And then John Wick ends up falling into that lifestyle. So maybe that's what they're planning to do. So they might just recast a younger John Wick, which to
That'd
me
be interesting.
makes better sense than,
Is there anyone you could picture as a young John Wick?
Man,
That's a tough
someone told me, and this is Rumorville, right? Rumorville.
Yeah.
Someone told me Harry Styles would make a perfect younger John. You just got to give him the darker hair, give him that New York attitude, and give him that facial hair, which Harry Styles doesn't have a lot of facial hair.
Yeah,
but
that's...
I'm like, yeah.
Well, can Harry Styles act?
Yeah, you see, that's another thing.
I love his song.
Yeah,
I mean, his song is great.
Well, he's going to be in the new. Well, he did show up in Marvel, right? So he was in
Marvel.
He was Thanos' brother. Remember the end of the Eternals?
No,
he came at the end. The what?
I don't.
The what? It's funny. I mentioned the Eternals. There's something going on Instagram where it goes the unmarvel characters, and it's the Eternals. But yeah, seriously, I mean, I think he's done a couple things in his lifestyle. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not keen with the new actors coming up right now to where I can say that's going to be a perfect a younger version of John Wick. I mean, they blew it with Han Solo, with that guy who played Solo. I mean, that guy was nothing like Harrison Ford's character. So they have to be really, really, really picky on who they're going to get to play John Wick, a younger John Wick.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they just went with, an unknown.
Yeah.
Someone who doesn't have a history. I guess to me, it really doesn't matter. Just because of how, Keanu plays the role. He's very stoic, doesn't say much.
Yeah.
He only had, honestly, a few lines in the movie that I can really think of. So it wouldn't be that hard if it was a newcomer to fill those steps. I think they would probably go with someone who has martial arts skills first, maybe. Yeah. And then kind of, if you have mediocre acting skills, that's all right. It's John Wick.
Just don't talk. Just take out your Glock and just start shooting.
Yeah, he's not a chatty Cathy.
Yeah. No, but
I
get what you mean about what the directors and producers have to do to make him look better than he is. I mean, just the fight scene, that whole Osaka scene, when the poor guy found nunchucks, and God. I'm expecting, I'm not expecting Bruce Lee, right? We're not expecting Bruce Lee, but we're expecting at least be okay with it. I mean, this guy used the nunchucks the way I would use the nunchucks.
Seriously, I could have done what he did with those nunchucks.
He didn't do none of that.
Wrapped them around his neck.
He didn't do any of that. That's what I was like sitting in the movie theater. Like I was wearing this hat and I put my hat over my head like, oh my God, is it over yet? Because all he was doing was walking up to someone and just going, whook, whook, whook.
Yes.
He was playing Donkey Kong with the fucking nunchucks.
Yeah. And that scene in particular is the one that I was like, oh my God. They could have sped this up a little bit more or did something. Maybe got a body double stuntman just for the Chuck's part.
I mean, hell, geez. Just put someone in there with a black suit, long hair with a beard, have his back turned and just have him like, man. And that scene right there, this is what disappoints me about the movie. Donnie and Hiroki, they had, to me, are probably the two best martial artists on TV or on movie that we can watch. Agreed. They didn't give him a big fight scene. I wish they did. And this is one of my downfalls in the movie is like, you have two good Asian actors who are known for martial arts in any movie. Why didn't they fight against each other? I mean, they did, but it was like too late,
Right.
Shimazu was already like, oh, I'm already dying, we're still gonna fight, but if they would have maybe like 50-50, John Wick 50%, and then them two 50%, I think that Osaka scene would have been way better than what I saw. But the fact that they didn't really fight was kind of like, come on.
Yeah, that was definitely a missed opportunity. And who knows, maybe that might be something that they come back to in one of the spin-offs.
Yeah.
Maybe those two characters have a history, more of a history that we can see.
I wish. Yeah.
Yeah, but I definitely agree with you there, because it's funny, like we always joke, and people always say, oh, you and Eric always agree on everything, and you guys like the same stuff, and for the most part we do. But like when it comes to movies, I would say that Eric is probably more of a sci-fi action fan than I am, right? I like more of the horror, suspense thriller type movies, but we watch both. We like them all. But for someone like me to be able to sit for 2 hours and 45 minutes after doing an 8-hour overnight shift, right, and not like doze off and fall asleep should tell you something. Like, it was done really well. Like, you could see the kind of clear 3 acts of the movie, and it just moves really well. Like, my problem with most action movies, it's just action scene after action scene. After a while, I just start getting bored, and I kind of lose my place in the story. You don't have that with this. It starts off clear. All right, look, they punish Winston for not doing what he had to do. They establish the bad guy, and all right, we see John Wick. We know what's about to happen, right?
Yeah.
And then we see, like, he I guess was kind of I forget the word that they use, but he was kind of kicked out of his clan, right? The Russians, because of stuff that happened. So he had to go make things right with them, and there was all these kind of loopholes. Like, he's been an assassin for a while, so he knows the rules of the high table, and he's like, look, I want to battle, I want to challenge, I forget, it's Marquise, right? And now that changes things, and they're like, all right, well, if you want to make things good with us, you have to go and over here
kill
do your thing, and so all this stuff was just like laid out so simple, so clear. They didn't do too much with the story, where like a lot of, like, say, Mission Impossible or 007 movies will bore you to death with the story, and then it's like out of nowhere action. No, this all made sense. It flowed really well. It was easy to pay attention to, and it does not drag or feel like you're sitting there for 2 hours, 3 hours.
No. I mean, even from the beginning, I mean, like the opening scene, we see him in a desert. And it kind of reminds me of, I've never seen the movie, but it kind of reminded me of Lawrence of Arabia, where you see the sun in the background and you see 4 horses, and then when the camera pans closer, he's chasing these 3 Middle Eastern guys, and come to find out one of them is the new elder. And and to me, I'm like, did they recast this guy? It's like, what happened to the other elder? And then the new elder says, for what you did, they had to kill that elder off. Because I guess, remember, the elder last time said, we will help you, but you have to kill Winston. And he never killed Winston. So now the elder's like, okay, he didn't kill Winston, now we kill you for it. So that's why the whole Akira kept saying, everything he touches, or everyone he touches, they die. Yeah. So that's, I guess, another reason why a lot of people don't like John Wick, is for that reason. And this will all lead up towards the end, and my theory on the ending part of the movie. But everything from the beginning to, like I said, it seemed like it was like the very next day when we see John Wick with the Bowery King, because the Bowery King picks him up in John Wick 3. He gets shot off a roof by Winston. The Bowery King's people picks him up, and then all we see him training, right? He's like punching a board. And that to me was straight up Matrix. I mean, that whole scene in the Matrix where Lawrence Fishburne's teaching him Kung Fu, and they're doing that same thing. To me, that screamed Matrix 100%. And he goes, "Are you ready, John?" Yeah, you can say I'm ready.
I just, again, man, his acting is freaking terrible. Constantine was horrible. I'm sorry, people.
Oh my god! And you know what's funny is he actually wants to reprise his role as Constantine.
Does he really?
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? Let him. It's again. I think a lot of it has to do because he's just a really nice guy.
I mean, but to play a character like Constantine, there's not a lot of acting you have to do. I mean,
Mhm.
if they keep his lines minimal and say things like Lucifer, okay, that's it. Don't say anything else. Keep it at Lucifer.
Yeah, they just get a really captivating Lucifer, someone who can carry that
Yeah.
role, and then just have him do
Yeah.
his Neo one-liner thing, and he'll be good.
Yeah.
You know.
I come to kill you. Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I another thing I got to say that I really loved about this movie is the cinematography.
Oh man,
My God,
yeah.
the scene in Paris, I believe, when they're fighting in the street with the cars, and I want to say they're like in front of the Louvre or something like that.
Yeah.
Freaking amazing.
Yeah.
The stunts were great, but the there's one scene in particular where John Wick is pretty much doing donuts while he's shooting outside of the car
Yeah.
window, and just the way the camera has this kind of fixed position and it's just spinning around with the car. I was like cheesing for that. I was like, that's fucking sick. Like, I love every time I see something done new and creative
Yeah.
with cinematography, because we've watched so many movies throughout the years since we were kids. I mean, we come from that generation, and it's kind of hard to do something new and impress us, right? But
Yeah.
this movie did it twice, and there's another scene, and I'll let you take, because I know you probably already know what scene I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what scene. That was my favorite scene throughout.
And fascinating.
Let me burst your bubble here. The scene, not taking it away from the scene. The scene was beautifully done. The car scene, the chase, like you said, there was a reason why they threw the doors off. The doors were all thrown off in this scene. But when he first gets the car, he rams into a guy in a blue truck, in a blue van.
Okay.
Now we're seeing a more wider angle of what is it? A Camaro? I think he had was it a Camaro or a Dodge? It was one of those two, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about
Dodge.
cars, but it looked like that kind of was that Shelby.
Okay,
What is that?
Mustang.
Is that a Mustang? Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that.
so
But I don't know what.
Yeah, he definitely had a muscle car, but he smashes into a guy as soon as he steals the car.
Mhm.
Now the camera pans wide, and I hate this about me, is I'm looking at the car and I'm like, where's the front end damage? Where's the little bump in this car? Now, when he's doing his little donuts around the lube, whatever it's called, cars are hitting him left and right, trying to get him off. And then again, we pan out, and I'm like, dude, he just got hit in the back. Where the hell is that? So I was taking those little things, and I'm like, all right. I think the post-production versus the scenes hitting, like they had to do maybe a couple number of reshoots because, that didn't look right. We have to do this again. But they didn't take in consideration, okay, this car already got hit 7 times while they were doing this shooting scene. The shooting scene was badass. Trust me. I love that scene. The way they did it, the stunt people, whether it was Keanu or his lookalike doing that, man. I mean, it was, to me, they need to throw this scene in like a James Bond type movie because it was a badass car chase, car scene. And for you guys who's been in Paris, is that how they really drive in that area? Like, do they drive in that one, like, it's like one big circle? And
yeah, I think it's called a roundabout.
That's a big ass roundabout.
Yeah, I think I could be wrong, but I believe it goes around the Louvre, and it's kind of like a big centerpiece. But that's what made that scene for me even more badass, and it kind of helped me. Can't help but think of what's going on in France right now.
Yeah.
With all the rioting and fires and stuff. So I'm like, man, this is like perfect timing because I could totally see this going on right now in the middle of France with all the craziness.
And another thing I was wondering is, if this was really shot in France, what time of it had to be shot like in the middle of the morning, middle of the night when there's nobody on the road, because that was a lot of cars that they used. So those extras, did they film it in the middle of, the evening time? But yeah, man, that scene to me, an exception to the little things that I told you about, that scene was badass to me. I mean, man, that scene. Yeah. And then the tracker, The tracker was in that. It's funny because I never realized this, but somebody called him a bottom feeder in the movie. And the reason why is because he would only show up when John Wick was already either incapacitated, about to die, or already got beat up by 5-6 different people.
Right. So which is, smart on his part because, John Wick's so badass. You know what? I'll let someone else start the work.
And I'll kill him. But his dog, and a lot of people were like, was that a German Shepherd? I did my research, and I want to say it was a Belgian Malios, which is a combination of a Belgian German Shepherd and a German Shepherd. Duh. Gotcha. But that's why the hair was different. That's why the snout looked like a German Shepherd, but the attitude is worse than a German Shepherd. Yes. I mean, man, I came home and the dog is like, you just say nuts. I mean, like, come on, man.
Yeah. And that you're right about the breed, and that the reason why I don't know if this is the reason why, but that breed of dog is known to be extremely smart. You see a lot of videos with law enforcement where they do these amazing tricks where they have them walking in their legs, and they're really agile. And I just love the continued theme of having a dog in a John Wick movie, right? That was kind of what made the character endearing in the first one. We see him, he loses his wife, he loses all this shit in his life, basically, and he gets this dog is the only thing he has to remember from his wife. That was a gift that she gave him. He didn't want him at first. And then the freaking high table comes in and kills his dog, and he fucking goes and just annihilates everyone. And I mean, a lot of people, especially dog owners, can,
relate.
They can relate. Exactly. It's like somebody, touches my dog, I'm killing everyone. I'm going freaking berserk. And so to continue it throughout all the movies, like every movie has had a dog element, a character with dogs, or there's just something that has to do with dog. And I'm really glad they brought it back. And he had a really big part. Actually, I don't know the dog's name, but
he was amazing. The dog's name,
he was amazing, and I just,
but it's not, for some reason it's not on IMDb, but it should be on IMDb.
It should. And the tracker, Mr. Nobody, these are the names that it goes by. In fact, I don't know if they ever even say his name is the tracker in the movie, but I loved his character. Like, I thought he was a good addition without being over the top. There was a little bit of like comic relief there, and sometimes when they do that, it's like really overdone and cheesy, and that's why it's done. And that wasn't the case, because I kind of was left wanting to know more about him and Kane. Like, that's why I wouldn't mind a spinoff with these characters, just because they were interesting. They weren't just kind of thrown in there for the sake of throwing them in there. It made sense, and it made you kind of like, man, these guys are cool. What I mean? And just how he is with his dog, just a character that fucking fights and shoots and then sicks his dog on like you forget about it, and like you said, all he has to do is say nuts, and that's it. Everything you had in your mind that you were going to do is out the window, because now you got a dog attacking your nuts.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, no, that's my biggest fear, is a dog attacking my nuts or biting my fingers off, and that dog was capable of doing both if you told it to. But going back to the cinematography. And I know your scene, and you and I can relate, is he goes into an abandoned building, and he has this, first of all, that badass AR-15. And I know with the whole gun control thing going on right now, remember guys, this is a movie. It's not real life. That AR-15, when those guys were sitting in the room, and I think with the ante was up to 40 million now at this time. So these guys were doing everything they can to redo their guns, and there was this one bullet that said dragon breath. And then when they tried shooting it from an AR-15, as soon as it hit something, it explodes. That was badass. And so he goes into this abandoned building, and first you see, the POV version of it, and you see John Wick going left and right, and then subtles. It's not like it wasn't even, it just didn't happen. It was subtle. Then all of a sudden the camera pans up, and now we have a bird's eye view of him going between rooms, killing people left and right. And I did not breathe throughout that whole scene, because it was such a kick-ass scene.
Yeah, no, totally. I was I was being such a nerd at that part of the
Yeah.
movie because when he starts shooting these guys, I go to my wife and we played enough video games and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god, he's got incendiary rounds. That's sick. I'm like going crazy over that. And then, like you said, the way it pans up, it's so subtle and it's almost like you're watching a video game.
Yeah.
It's you see him moving from room to room and I love when they kind of break that fourth wall and you see the split and you see the borders of the room and all
Yeah.
that. It was just done. You're kind of sucked into it. There's no way, and this is what I mean by finding new ways to impress us. Like we've seen a million fight scenes. We've seen John Wick kick, a whole apartment or a house full of guys' asses plenty of times. So how can we do it in a different way now that's going to be interesting and captivating? And they did it.
Yeah.
Just that simple move of giving us a bird's eye view and just one continuous shot. Because that's the other thing. We're so used to cutscenes in action movies and everything's fast. And you're only seeing, a fraction of a second of a frame and it moves from here to here. So to see, and again, shout out to the fight choreographer, to see them pan one single shot of him just doing all this stuff was freaking sick. And that was one of the highlights of the movie.
I mean, we've always seen, to me, this is probably the first time I've seen this in a major movie. Usually we'll find this in a B-roll movie, or a movie that like, oh, did you watch this? No. We see that in that, they see this kind of scene in that kind of movie. But in this movie, in a John Wick movie, for the choreographers, and to me, whoever did this must have been a video game freak, must have been like, you know what? I used to play this video game back in the days when the guy had to maneuver through. I mean, that's the first thing, especially gamers looked at was this a video game type scene? Because that's what I thought it was. But for them to implement this in a movie, man, I know it'll never get a best picture or best cinematography, but man, if they did, or even best fight choreography, if they did, man, John Wick will definitely, if they were nominated, John Wick will definitely win. Just because everything involved, from the car scene to this scene to the fight scene in Osaka, was well choreographed in this movie.
Yeah, no, it was definitely like stylized in a way that was really cool and unique to the movie. There's that other scene where he's fighting the big guy in the suit.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
That
what's his name? Killer or Kita? I think his name is Kita.
Yeah. That to me was another kind of, and that, I didn't notice it, so now I was just talking about it, but that's another scene that reminded me of a video game.
Yeah.
They're fighting in the middle of this club, right? With the music blasting, like fast EDM style music, and the lights, and it's raining, and then you have people dancing in the background who are completely oblivious to the fight going on. And that's right out, I believe it's Street Fighter. There's I don't know which character it is, and for video game guys or girls, let us know in the comments. But there's a scene in the back. There's a background where everybody's dancing and just not paying attention to the fight.
Was that Vega? God, I don't remember which character that was, but yeah, I remember what you're talking about.
Right, and that's immediately that's what I thought of. I was like, oh, that's sick. That looks just like a game, and that part could have become dangerously cheesy and campy because it's obviously a guy in a fat suit, right? And he's fucking agile and badass and doing all these like kicks and flips. Kind of reminded me of Al Pacino in the Dick Tracy movie.
Yeah.
Right. When they had the big, like the body things and all the makeup. It reminded me of that. But I don't know. It still fit. It wasn't overdone to the point where it's like, all right, it's just ridiculous. He did enough where I was like, okay, I can maybe buy that. Maybe he was a badass and he gained some weight, but he still got, there's videos of that kid that does the freaking diving and does all these somersaults. He's like 300 pounds. It's possible. It's possible.
It could happen.
But
he's Russian, so
right. But that scene to me was another one of those, like, man, just stylistically, the way this movie looks, it's just really cool.
That scene took away from me, and the reason why, first of all, it reminded me a lot of Blade. The same scene where Blade's fighting a room full of vampires, and then the blood starts spilling from the sprinklers, and all of a sudden Blade realizes these guys in the club were all vampires also. So that's what kind of took me from that. But what I didn't like in that scene, besides the fight was crazy as hell. But like what you said, you have these clubbers who are dancing, and they obviously see these people fighting. And you, as a club goer, should know, oh shit, this is the big boss. He's fighting someone, and they're just standing around, doing their little dun. I'm like, wouldn't you want to like run away? Like some of them were just like standing there, like still dancing instead of like moving away. Like, let's get away from these guys.
They're even pushing them out of the way while they're fighting. And they're just like,
they're still dancing. They're still doing their moves. And then everyone knows who John Wick is. So if you would have seen like, oh shit, this is the Baba Yaga, I'm getting the hell out of the way. But they still keep dancing. And it took the end of that scene for them to all realize, oh, they're fighting. Let's get out of here. And I'm like, they've been fighting for the past 20 minutes. You guys are just now leaving. I mean, don't get me wrong. That scene was still crazy. That scene was still sick. But that one part, and Scott Adkins, man, that's the guy who played Killer or Kid. I can't see his name. Killer, the Russian mafia guy. And to backtrack on that, John Wick does go back to Russia to try to be back with his original family. So he kind of goes back to the family, and they say, we will take you back, but you got to kill this guy because this is the guy that killed my brother. Or was it brother or husband? Something like that.
I think it was, I don't remember.
Yeah. So John Wick, to get the family back and his back, he has to kill this guy, and he has to show proof. So the whole time he's fighting this guy, I'm trying to figure what proof is he going to get? Is he going to chop his head off? Is he going to chop his finger off? What proof does he get? At the end, when he kills him, what does he do? He takes out a freaking gold tooth. That's the proof they all needed. I mean, shit, if that's the proof you needed, I just would have went to somebody who has a gold tooth. Give me this tooth, and then here's your proof. But no.
Yeah, and it wasn't easy getting the tooth out either, because he had to punch him in his mouth a good amount of times, and while he sat there with this weird look on his face, I was the same thing. I was like, wait, what's going on here? Why is he making a weird face with his mouth? And then he pulls the tooth out.
Whoever that person was that shot that scene, like, again, this whole scene, I'm thinking, what proof is he going to get? What proof is he going to give us? But then as soon as he dies and he's sitting there and he's like this, with a fat ass smile, and you just see nothing but the gold grill on his upper teeth. I'm like, oh man, is he gonna get a tooth? I want to see a head cut off. I want to see an ear. I want to see something, man.
Or at least rip them all out or something.
Yeah, take the whole damn grill.
There was something else about this that I noticed that I liked, and you reminded me when you had mentioned that the bounty on his head had gone up to 40 mil.
Yeah.
So the whole time so basically, like I said earlier, John Wick's like, you know what, I want to duel Marquise.
Yeah.
Like I want to go head to head with him. And so they meet up, and they say, look, all right, we'll set a time, and they have like sit down at this table with these cards, and they start negotiating what the fight's going to be. When is it going to be? Where is it going to be? What weapons are we going to use? And they decided, okay, it's going to be at sunrise. It's going to be a duel with guns, whatever many paces. But Marquise, being the fucking douche that he is, he's like, well, the other stipulation is if one of the fighters don't make it at sunrise, they automatically forfeit.
Yeah.
So Marquise takes this chance now to have everyone in the damn world, every assassin, make sure that John Wick doesn't make it to the duel.
Yeah.
The next morning. And so this is kind of what we're dealing with, sort of like the second half of the movie. And I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much going on.
That's the Marquise at the end of the movie.
Yeah. So there was a reason why I brought that up, though. What we were talking about before.
So basically, I can read Joe's mind. So basically, the Marquise is in a way cheating, because he knows if John Wick doesn't make it to the top of the stairs by sunrise, he automatically wins. So the Marquise, go ahead.
I remember what it was I was saying.
Go ahead.
And so throughout the whole time where all these guys are trying to kill John Wick, Marquise is in contact with the tracker, and he's telling them like, "Look, if you kill him, I'll give you this amount." Like they're bartering the whole time. Like Marquise wanted like 35 million. He's like, "No, I'll give you 25." And as John Wick keeps killing off Marquise's guys, the price keeps going up. And finally he's like, "Fine, I'll give you 40 million." And what they do, which was very kind of reminiscent of the Warriors.
Yeah.
The whole time there's this chick on the like, I don't know, the high table assassins radio that only assassins listen to. And she's giving, instructions to everybody saying, "Hey, the price just went up. The bounty just went up. Hey, he's getting close. We only have a few more hours." So it's really like it's putting the pressure on even more. The closer he gets to the steps, more people come. And it really reminded me of like the Warriors when they have that scene of the Warriors trying to get from, what was it, the Bronx to Coney Island, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I really like that because it gave it this kind of comic book feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because now like, shit, like it's already hard as it is. And then as it gets closer, there's more fucking people coming. And then I'm thinking, how is he supposed to duel even if he makes it through all this shit? Like, so that was another added element to it that makes it exciting.
I mean, that's what makes the Marquise a great hated villain is he's going to do whatever it takes to make sure. Kind of reminds me of the Gladiator scene where Joaquin Phoenix takes the knife and stabs Russell Crowe, even though they know they're going to duel. He stabs him anyways because he's like, I want to have a head up when I fight this guy, right? So that's what the Marquise is doing in the scene. He's like, 40 million for anyone who kills him. And then you have this chick on the radio who's like, come on, guys, he's getting close. Just 280 more steps to get to the top. So he's telling these guys on, gangster radio FM, whatever they're listening to, hey, he's here. This is the location. I mean, that's what kind of messed John Wick up, is because as soon as he got to France, that radio went off and they were telling each and every hood there where he was, and it didn't give him a chance. But again, that's what makes this guy, the Marquise, a good villain. It's like, I'm going to do whatever I can. And he chickens out at the duel, going back to what Joe said. Instead of him fighting, he says, I pick a champion. And he picked Donnie Yen's character, Kane, to me, I think I was the only one in the movie theater, and there was probably like 30 people in the movie theater that laughed because when he says, I pick a champion, I pick Kane, and I busted out laughing because it's a freaking duel and Kane is blind. It's like, what? It's like, the whole purpose of the duel is to face each other. And as soon as the guy who plays Harbinger says fire, you shoot the gun.
Right. If
you're blind, your sense of sight is gone. You have to rely on, is my gun straight? Am I pointing it at him? And that to me was, it was a funny scene, but it kind of made the scene even, better because like you said in the beginning, John Wick and Kane are friends and there's a history with these two. And even in that scene before that, they didn't want to kill each other. It's like, I don't want to kill you, but he even says, it's my daughter. It's my daughter. So,
and it's funny because, we get to the steps that Eric mentioned, and John Wick has to climb 280 steps, whatever it is, and he has a shitload of assassins in between him and the top of the steps, and that's where the duel happens, is at the top of the steps. But because of what Marquise did with Kane, kind of forcing him to duel, Kane ends up, so John's trying, he fucking starts kicking all his ass, getting up these steps, and there's this ridiculous scene that I was not a fan of. I laughed, but it was just stupid. He gets to the top of the steps, and then he gets kicked back down the steps, and it is the longest fall down steps you have ever seen. You're like, you think he's gonna stop. He gets to a landing, starts rolling, goes further down, keeps rolling, and but he gets to the bottom and he has like 3 minutes left, and you're like, son of a bitch, how's he going to do this? And sure enough, Kane pops up. Now, he could easily kill him right there and end it all, but he has to fight the duel for
Yeah.
it to count, right? You got to follow the rules, because even though there are these sick assassins, they have rules that they need to follow.
Yeah.
And so just that kind of position of now he's helping him fight all these guys to get to the top of the hill to duel him is ridiculous, but cool at the same time. And you see that kind of interaction between them of being friends, but being put in a position where they still have to
do the duel.
Yeah, right.
Shout out to whoever that freaking stunt double was, for him to get to the very top of the stairs, to freaking tumble. Was it 220 or whatever steps he has to tumble down? That part right there to me was like, okay, I would do that, but I wouldn't be that stunt person to do that. You know, and like I tried. I want to rewatch the scene because I want to see if it's just one take, or does he fall down 5, then they stop, and then they falls down another 5. But for us viewers, it was constant, just from the top to the bottom. And then again, here we are, the Marquis finding a way to slow down John Wick. So he gets his guy, and that one guy, I forget his name, his main goon. That guy, the just
Spanish dude.
Yeah. The one that just never dies. He's the one that tries to kill the dog. He's the one that in the Lose, he's doing everything he can to kill John Wick, but the tracker's like, no, he's mine. So he's always shooting at him. But this guy just never dies. It's like, you know,
he was freaking indestructible except for his nuts, apparently.
Yeah, except for his. I mean, you know, the one thing I love about John Wick is all their suits are made out of Kevlar. Like everything, even like the legs. It's like shoot him in the leg. Can't. It's made out of Kevlar. You know, so it's like that's why in every John Wick movie you always see them. I don't remember them doing this in the first 2. I know they did it in the third one, but was their suits made out of Kevlar in the first 2? You know what it was? Because when he fought Common, he kept using his jacket as a shield. So yeah. Because I think in part 2, but maybe part 1, I don't remember seeing it made out of Kevlar. But man, just that kind of takes the whole thing away from trying to kill these guys, and even John Wick, because you can shoot them as much as you want.
Yeah.
But their body is made out of, or their suits made out of Kevlar. And that's what makes this funny scene at the end when, and you know what I'm talking about, Joe's laughing already. When John Wick makes it to the top, he's talking to everyone, he's taking his jacket off. And as soon as he takes his jacket off, all you hear is the bullets just bounce off the floor.
Yeah.
And then he takes off his, what is the vest? I guess it's a vest also.
Yeah.
And he takes that off, and the same thing, you just hear the bullets. So it kind of like that little detail that the production company threw in made us be like, oh, shit, okay. Yeah. You know, because, you know, I can see people there, like my dad, like, oh, that's stupid. That's dumb. How's he not dying? You know, just shoot the guy in the head. But then to add that little extra at the end was kind of like, all right, okay, it's Kevlar.
Yeah. And that's definitely, I think, the difference maker between this and a lot of other action movies. Like I wouldn't consider John Wick like a spy movie, but it has elements of spy movies. You have the cool gadgets and tricks, and you have the espionage, and you have all the fancy bad guys, and they're all in the, you know, beautiful cities and stuff. But it's those little details. Normally that stuff I get bored with, you know.
Yeah.
But it's those little things that they added that, you know, there's enough there to make it believable. And you're like, okay, well, I can see how that would happen, make it somewhat realistic. But then there's still the fantasy aspect of things that realistically, if I had a Kevlar suit, I'd probably still get shot, you know.
Yeah.
But it kind of gives a little kind of, you know, a rope for them to be like, well, this is why he's not getting killed, being shot at a lot. And so it you're like, all right, I got it. I'll roll with that. And it just makes it that much more fun, I think, because, you know, you want just enough believability, because if it's a little too crazy, then it's just like, well, I'm just watching like a fantasy thing now. And you know, it loses me. I mean, I think that's why, like, oh man, it was just done really well. I personally, I don't know. I think I may like this one better than all the other ones.
I do. I like this one just because there was more fight scenes involved, and the characters that they added actually made a difference. And the third one, you give us Holly Berry, but she leaves him in the desert to go find the elder, which was okay. I was hoping in this scene, the stair scene, I was hoping they bring back every major add-on character from 1, 2, and 3. Like maybe Holly Berry's at this, the stair scene, helping John Wick out. And whoever else that we missed in 1 and 2, maybe the Bowery King is there and with his guys helping him out also. But no, they only give us Kane and the tracker. The tracker, all he did was take out that big guy, just shoot him, and then the dog did the rest. But those are the little things like that I wish they added. Like, okay, pay homage to, Holly Berry, but you paying someone like Holly Berry is probably going to cost you the whole budget, and we probably don't get that bird's eye scene from the shooting scene because we have to pay the Holly Berry that money. So I can see why they didn't do that, but if they did, to me would have been a little bit more special. But the ending scene to me was epic. I definitely love that scene. Go ahead and tell us what your thoughts are.
I thought it was great. I thought the whole idea of him, we've already spoke about it, but like just he has this goal, he has this spot where he's trying to make, and you just constantly, there's just things thrown in front of him, and there's no point in the movie where you see it more like visually here. It's literally, I got to climb all these steps, got all these guys I got to get through, finds a way through it after all this shit, and then we finally get up there. And he makes it, and now they have to duel. Yeah. And you're like, fuck, man. Now he's got to duel this boy. How does he get out of this? How do they make it? And so the way the rules set up, they have to walk, I believe it's 30 paces, turn around, 30. Shoot.
Yep.
And if they miss or no one's dead, then they come in closer by 10 more paces each time. And first time around, I believe no one shot or they miss. I think he
they shot each other in the arm.
Sean got
the first
John got shot in the arm.
Yeah.
And so they get closer. They shoot again. This time his boy is hit, right? Am I getting that right?
They're both hit in the abdomen area. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then finally the last one, they get closer, they shoot, and John gets hit. And he's on the ground, and he's like, fuck.
Yeah.
He got me. And now Marquise, who's already proven to be a coward, even though he's supposed to be this badass. Coward, right. Now he wants to do the coup de grace, the kill shot. He's like, no, let me do it. I want to go, like, because all the hard work's been done. He's just got his ass kicked down 250 steps. Finds his way, fights throughout all these damn cities, makes it here, and now all of a sudden you're this tough guy. But what he doesn't realize is that John
Wick
never shot his gun.
Yeah.
Now they don't say if this is done purposely, but I'm assuming it is. I think that was part of his plan, and I don't know if him and Kane had this kind of unsaid thing like, hey, this is what we're gonna do.
I think it was the line, you remember, right before they did that final shot, John Wick tells Kane, in life there's death, and in death there's life. I forget what that line was, and I think Kane already knew, okay, I'll shoot you, and then you got to do the rest. Right. So I think they already had this understanding that this was going to happen. That's why go ahead and finish that. I think that's why John Wick never fires his gun.
Right. And so Marquise takes the gun from Kane, and I forget who delivers the line. I don't know if it was Winston or the guy.
Winston.
It was Winston.
Yeah.
And he basically said, like, douchebag, you jumped the gun.
Yeah.
And that's not the line. I'm paraphrasing, obviously. But he's like, John never shot his gun. And then, John Wick takes him out with that last shot, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But let me ask you. So, spoiler alert. I mean, we've said it throughout the whole thing. John Wick gets shot and he doesn't make it. Do you think he's really dead?
I think they left an open book on this. On this, and this is going to be the argument of the century till we finally see him back on screen. But I think the way they killed him off, and air quotations with my fingers,
Right.
is they know there's a lot of people that still wants to kill him, even though the high table, after Donnie Yen, or after John Wick kills the Marquise, the high table says you are clear of all your wrongdoings. John Wick, you're dead. Kane, you are free to go back with your daughter. So pretty much everything is good. Right. The Continental gets their hotel back with the high table paying for everything, right? So everything is good. At the end scene, we see John Wick walking down the stairs from him he did get shot in the abdomen, and he tells Winston, I want to go home. So is that a subtle hint that he wants to go back to New York, or does he want to be with his, and then to go back to, I'll give you my answer, but you remember when the Bowery King and Winston was in the boat and they were going down the whatever part of Paris.
Right.
John Wick says, I wanted to say, and they're talking about their headstones, what they want their headstones to say, because they're talking about Sharon, and it just said friend on Sharon's headstone. John Wick says, I want mine to say loving husband. That's all he wanted to say, nothing more, loving husband. So at the end of that, when he's sitting on the stairs, he kind of looks off to the sunset and he sees Helen, his wife from the beginning. He sees her, and they kind of like flash back a little, like them being in love together.
Yeah.
Then all we see is John Wick lay down the stairs. Like he's like, and we've seen this so many times with him. But at the end of the movie, we go back to New York and you see Sharon, sorry, not Sharon. You see Winston and the Bowery King with John Wick's dog. And they're looking at a headstone, and it gets closer, and we see Helen Quick and John Wick, and it says loving husband. So maybe they killed him off, I mean, maybe they killed him off, but me being the guy that I am, I'm thinking they killed him off to tell the world he's dead so no one else goes after him. But if they need him, they might call upon him. But that kind of defeats the purpose of killing you off, if you don't want the world to know who you are. But I think the directors and the producers did it well to where we think he's dead, but he could not be. It's up to our imagination whether he's dead or not.
Yeah, and I have the same take as you, which is why I kind of feel like the studio dropped the ball when they made the announcement that they want to continue to make. They want Keanu to continue to make John Wick movies. Well, then you kind of just, spoiler alert, like, because if that's the case, he's not dead, and that's why I was saying, like, all right, say that he is dead and you still want him to do movies, then you're talking about doing a prequel or a flashback. And if you want to keep Keanu, then it's like you can't go that far back, you know what I mean? So I'm just kind of confused as to what it is they're trying to do. I hope he's not dead. I wouldn't mind seeing. At this point, I think they've established John Wick enough that they can continue to do just one-offs. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be, at this point, doesn't have to be related to the first 4 movies. You could kind of do little throwbacks and little touches on things that have happened in the past, but you're not tied to any kind of storyline now, I don't think. And I think that it kind of opens the door to have like a 007-esque type of, franchise where it can continue down the line. And who knows, maybe 10, 20 years from now, have a new John Wick, someone else play him, kind of like they do with 007. So, but I enjoyed the ending. I agree with you. I think they kind of left it open-ended for them to maybe decide, all right, where are we going to go from here? Because when I saw it, we've seen people get shot in that spot all the time, and it's not necessarily
death,
a life-ending injury, considering all the other places he's been shot and killed and fallen from and all that stuff. So, but I thought it was done well. I really think story-wise, with maybe the exception of the first one, this one was probably one of the better stories, the way it flowed and just all made sense and was like, straight to the point.
I like where they led us. I like them leaving us more to think about. You know, it's like, yeah, we are going to keep thinking about this. YouTube, the internet, there's all these alternate endings that John Wick 4 has, but I don't know if it's real. You know, I don't know if it's one of those things, you know, till they come out with a Blu-ray and they actually release the alternate ending. It's probably just like put togethers that, you know, these nerds put out on video. But I love the ending. I love where they're leaving us. I would love to see moving forward. Like you said, the studio already said they're going to give us more John Wick. And Kane throughout the whole movie kept talking about our friendship, our friendship, our friendship, our friendship. I'd love them to go back to show us that, how they met, how they became friends. Even with Shimatsu, I love to see how he came back or how they became friends, and how, because they're tight, their bond was pretty tight. And that's one thing I didn't like about the movie, where you have this person, John Wick, who's tight with Kane and tight with Shimatsu. Why couldn't John Wick bring them both together? You know, have them see eye to eye, but instead they, you know, one killed the other. But I would love to see that in another movie. You know, give us a John Wick, give us maybe how he became friends and how the Osaka, I mean, hell, give us the whole Osaka Continental. I'd love to see that, you know. I mean, anything, you put anything in a Japanese movie, whether it's ninja swords and ninjas and arrows, to me is badass. Now you're adding a John Wick producer in there, that's even going to be even better, you know. I'd love to see that. You know,
totally agree.
If there's a John Wick 5, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't know how I'd feel about it.
I mean, I'd watch it. I think I watched every Rambo there was, and I didn't get tired of that. So
no, I watched. I didn't. That one Rambo where he was in. Was it Rambo when he was in like Mexico?
Was that? Was that the one where he's shooting everybody with a 50 cal like at point blank range? Because it was that one. I loved it.
Well, there was one where I see, now I'm getting confused if it was even a Rambo movie. But there was one where he was in Mexico and a drug cartel kidnaps a girl that he's really close to, and then now he has to go and save this girl. And I don't remember.
I don't know. I think the last one I remember is he was like a tour guide in a jungle or something like that.
Oh yeah. So there's another one after that.
There's one after. Okay.
Yeah.
So
there's another one after that. Yeah. There's another one. I remember that one. Yeah. That one was also in Central America or South America somewhere. But there's another one after that. But yeah, man, John Wick 4, highly recommended. Definitely cool. I mean, if you're into fight scenes, if you're into shooting, if you're into good cinematography, but you can handle Keanu Reeves' acting, this is definitely a movie for you, man. What'd you think, Joe?
Same. You know, I was a little worried. You saw it before I did, and you know, usually we don't talk about movies to each other because you know we like to do it on the pod, but we'll kind of give a little bit of information. And you had mentioned something. You said if you saw part 3, if you like part 3, then you'll like it. You're like, it's pretty much like that. And I was a little worried. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. I'm glad you did, because I didn't have high hopes going into it, because I was a little bummed out, because I hate when they do that, when they just kind of copy and paste when they have something good and then they do a sequel and it's pretty much the first one but just not as good. So I was going into it a little kind of like leery, like I don't know if I'm gonna like this, and I was completely surprised, because it is like the other movies. Like, it has all the elements that you liked about the first 3 movies, but it was just elevated with just the production of it. The great acting from the co-host. I mean, the co-host, excuse me,
the cast.
Great cinematography, just looks beautiful. Sound is great. The beginning when he's training, that punching that board scared the shit out of me. You know, it just has everything, all the elements that you learn about in film class. Every little part of it was done really well, and I loved it, and I definitely recommend it. And this is coming from someone who's not the biggest action movie fan, and I sat through it from beginning to end and loved every minute of it. So definitely recommend it.
No, I mean, I liked it, and I'm the guy who never wanted to watch John Wick 1. I didn't watch John Wick 1 till God, who knows when. Like, it was probably like 2-3 years after it was already on. And the only reason why I watched John Wick 1 is because they were coming out with John Wick 2. And after I watched 1, I was pretty much there. I was like, okay. Then 3 comes out. I didn't watch. This is the first John Wick movie I watched in the theater. Believe it or not. All the other John Wicks I watched when it came out on, not DVD, but it came out on demand. Yeah. This is the first one that I actually paid for to watch in the theater, because these kind of movies, Joe knows, it gives me anxiety. It's one of those like, what's gonna happen now? Don't go in there. It's worse than The Last of Us. It's worse than zombie movies, because at one point someone's gonna die, and how you're gonna kill him, it's that it's there. So
you're not gonna watch the Priest's Exorcist?
Oh hell no! Was that on your preview?
It was, yeah, and I can't wait to see it.
No, there was two previews in ours. One was it Evil Dead Rise or Rise Evil Dead?
We didn't have that one.
There's one that's called Evil Dead Rise, and it's about a lady who gets possessed, and she's trying to kill the whole family. And then The Exorcist, the Pope's Exorcist, with Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. I want to know. This is what I want to read. I want to know if this ties into The Exorcist.
Is it part of the whole Exorcist franchise? I don't think it is. There've been a few movies where they have Exorcist in some form or way in the title, The Exorcist of Emily Rose and all that. I would have to look into it, but I feel like a lot of these movies are doing that purposely.
Okay.
Because they might catch some fans who just automatically assume it's part of the franchise.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong, because they do say it's based on true events.
Yeah. And it's in the same city, or in the same country, I should say, same country.
Okay.
And that one part of the trailer when the boy says, I want the priest, and then they bring in a priest, and then he like shoots up the whole room, and he goes, I want the other priest.
Yeah.
It's like, no, thank you.
Yeah. Oh man, that was great.
This is what I would say if I watched that movie.
Joe Mama.
I'm not sorry. That's something Joe has to review on his own, because I'm going to be watching the movie with my hands over my face the whole time. I'll be back. I'm getting popcorn. And then at the end of the movie, where were you? Oh, they were showing John Wick 4, and I wanted to finish that movie because I think I didn't see that in the, but yeah, no, I'm not watching that. Sorry.
I'm almost ashamed of how excited I was to see that.
Joe's like, it's an Nexus? Nope. Yep. No. Where's my
No, thank you, man.
I am not watching that. All right, man. This has been fun. John Wick 4, definitely go watch it. Again, an hour 12 into this. Spoiler alert if you guys are into this. And let us know what you think. Let us know if you actually like the movie. Let us know if it's something you watched. Let us know if John Wick is dead. Are we going to see another Baba Yaga? Is he going to reprise his role, or what? Let us know. Let us know what you think. And that's it.
That's it. That's all we got.
That's all we got, man.
John Wick 4. The more Johnnier, the more Wickier.
The more John, the more Wickier. We're going to do a podcast on The Mandalorian, but I think we're going to wait till the end of the season. I think there's only 6 episodes, and if there's only 6 episodes, then the next episodes, the last episode's coming within the next couple weeks. So give Joe time to catch up on that. But if we did anything else before that, we'll let you guys know on the Instagram page. Follow us on the Instagram page, The Ordinary Joe's Podcast on Instagram. And again, email us. Stop spamming our email address, man. Stop sending us things like, I have to send Joe, did you buy this Microsoft thing and use our email address? Because I'm getting things like, pay your Microsoft bill now or get your cancellation. I'm like, what the hell? Who's using our email?
We don't even use our email like that.
Stop spamming our email. I'm not going to tell you what our email address is now just because you guys keep spamming it. But man, this has been fun. Thank you guys. Both Joe and I are representing our home team of baseball, Giants, the Mets.
That time of the year.
Giants are playing the Yankees as we speak. And of course, my sports app is not working. Of course. Until next time, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for on YouTube who's watching. We are the Ordinary Joes.
Peace.
See ya.
You're listening to the Ordinary Joe's Podcast.